Present.
And Commissioner Roach. Okay, we have a quorum. I'm sorry, Bob, did you, or John, rather, you heard the roll call?
Yes, yes.
I think my audio went off for a second. My apologies. We do have a quorum. The first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the regular board meeting from April 15th. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the agenda? Any questions? Entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Ferguson, seconded by Commissioner Martinez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those minutes are accepted. I'll call for the same motion regarding the minutes of the special board meeting from May 5th. Is there a motion to accept?
Accept.
I said.
Motions to accept by Commissioner Martinez, seconded by Commissioner Ferguson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Signify by saying aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those minutes are accepted. Next up is the report from the Chief of Police. Good evening, Chief. How are you?
I'm good, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing fine, sir. The
Good,
floor
good.
is
Thank
yours.
Thank you. Thank you. A good evening to everyone. First, I want to introduce myself. I see we have a couple of new commissioners that I've not yet had the pleasure to meet. And so I just want to extend, if you would like to ever come and meet me in person, you can go through Lieutenant Lyons or call my office and set up an appointment or set up at any time you want to come by, and we could, you can come and meet. We can meet in person, and I could discuss, my background and also some of the things that we've done since I've been the police chief and some of the things that we're going to do in the future. So that invitation is open to you at your convenience. That's okay, right, Commissioner Roach? I don't create
Absolutely, absolutely.
Once I tried to invite some council, and they said I was creating a meeting or something. So I have to make sure I'm not violating the rules.
As long as there's not more than 3 commissioners present, doesn't constitute a meeting that has to be noticed. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Just really quick. First, I want to give you an update on our crime statistics. So year to date, we're down 13% in overall crime versus this time last year. We're down across the board as well. Our shooting incidents are down. Our robberies are down. Our burglaries are down. Our shot spotter activations are down versus this time last year. So that's good news. Knock on wood. Hopefully that trend continues. A couple things that we're doing to also kind of address and also enhance our crime reduction strategies. This summer, when our new PPOs get off the FTO program, we're going to be introducing neighborhood policing. It's just a revisiting of some old community policing strategies where we're going to have officers walking. First, we're going to start in 3 locations. We're going to have 2 officers on Stratford Avenue. We're going to have 2 on East Main Street, and we're going to have 2 offices in the area of Park and Wood. And those will be foot details, as well as they'll have access to vehicles as well. We'd like to expand that at some point as we grow the department. We'd like to expand that to our housing communities, as well as Madison Avenue and Black Rock. Also, we've always had our downtown details, our downtown walking details. So these will be in addition to the downtown details. So, but again, as we grow, we'll add more locations, the ones that I mentioned as well. So looking forward to doing that. As it relates to growing the department, so we have 26 PPOs. We call them police recruits. I'm not sure of the exact PPO acronym, but they will be graduating in the next couple of weeks, and they'll be on the road. We anticipate starting another class June 9th. We were unanimously approved for another class by the Post Council. We are going to have a minimum of 30 for that class. Hopefully we can get more, but right now we've been approved for 30. So that's really going to allow us to grow the department. Right now, I believe Lieutenant Lyons shared some information with you for me, but we are roughly at 310 police officers. With that next 30, that'll put us at like 340. So we're well on. That will surpass the mayor's goal of hiring 100 new police officers. Although we said a year, it's taken us more than a year. So, but I'm still proud of that accomplishment. So in roughly a year and a half or so, a little more than a year and a half, we will have hired over 100 police officers, which really good news, particularly in this day and age when it's tough to recruit police officers. So we've kind of like bucked the trend where we've been able to bring on new officers. So that will be happening June 9th. We'll have another class of 30 police officers. Also, we're putting together the final touches on our summer plans, our summer operational plans, where we'll have officers assigned to our parks, as well as other neighborhoods where there's a high volume of activity throughout the summer. The downtown detail will be continuing as well throughout the summer, where we'll be assigning police officers. In addition to the 2 officers on the day and the evening shift, we usually add officers to our downtown detail as well, just to provide a more prevalent police presence throughout the summer months as well. Other than that, one of the things that I've done, Lieutenant Lyons and I did this last week, and it's going to go even further, since we've had numerous requests or I don't necessarily want to call them issues regarding our towing. I did a review myself with Lieutenant Lyons, and from my quick analysis, I believe from the police department's end, as well as from what I can see, we're doing pretty decent in our towing. But what I have done is Captain Blackwell is in charge of administrative services now. He, along with DC Baraja, they're going to take an additional review of some of the things that we're doing and practices, and they're going to make any recommendations that if they see necessary to improve how we're doing that. But just again, my quick review with Lieutenant Lyons last week, it seems like we are in compliance and doing things that we are supposed to be doing, but we're always open for suggestions on how we can get better. But beyond that, again, crime is down, knock on wood. Obviously, how people feel is the most important thing to me. So the numbers mean nothing if, and I know Lauren is on here, she hears this speech all the time. Numbers mean nothing if the people don't feel safe. We've also begun to undertake our spring community outreach programs where we've done community meetings. There was one last night at the downtown library. That was for the residents of the Green Homes housing community. We did one last Thursday at our community services division on Sylvan Avenue. That was for the housing community of Trumbull Avenue. And there'll be one this Friday at the Burrell Center for the P.T. Barnum housing community as well. We also did the downtown DSSD meeting last week as well. So as the summer months come, we do more outreach. Our midnight basketball started, so we have 3 locations. If anyone knows young individuals who want to go out, it's not just basketball; they do other activities as well. So we do both of the Boys and Girls Clubs one on Madison Avenue and Fairfield Avenue, and the Hall Neighborhood House. Those are Friday nights. It starts at 6 o'clock and it goes to like at least 10 o'clock. Depends on the crowd. They'll go to midnight, and all the kids who come, they get a meal as well. So we're just preparing for the summer months. Hopefully we'll continue this trend of crime going in a downward direction. So if there's any questions, I'll take a couple of questions if you have.
Yeah, Chief, a couple of things quickly. Summer is pretty much here, or it's coming upon us in short order. Already received some phone calls. I know the mayor's office received phone calls about noise complaints down at Seaside, music being loud. I requested a sign at both gates to be put up, saying, loud, no loud music. And there's, I know the ordinance used to be $100 fine for that. I don't know if that's still the same, or if you would know off the top of your head, but we'll probably tack that on as well. If the fine is 100 or 250 or whatever it is, we'll figure that out first before we put the signs up. So hopefully that'll act as a deterrent.
I'll double check, but I think the amount is still the same. I know we had talked about maybe adding a little more to it, to add some more teeth to it, but that's something the council would have to do. I was at the park on Sunday, and by the bathhouse, there was a group out there that had outdoor speakers, and I know the cops went by and told them to. We haven't started the parks detail officially yet because the parks the season has opened, but we're going to ban any outdoor speakers, like the big ones, or having your hatch back up with the speakers. So yeah, we're aware of that, and we're gonna, obviously stay.
Yeah, personally, I don't think we need to jack up the fine, but as long as those are, being issued, I think that'll be a deterrent enough, or hopefully would be.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
The other thing I have, Chief, is I know you had mentioned, we'll soon have more officers, members of the department, than we've had in God knows how long. Which is great, and I know that the number that says that brings us to technically full strength is over 400. But I also would like to point out that the department has been able to do a lot more per man power than in the past. And part of it's a fusion center, part of it is as your efforts and others to civilianize certain positions that really wouldn't require a police officer to fill. So and among other things, so we're going to get to the point where even though the full strength number might be higher than it was, but we'll be pretty much there, I would think, right, Chief?
Yeah. So always, we're doing a lot. We're doing more with less, and we've been successful. I think we, like you mentioned, the Fusion Center and some other strategies, and working with the community. I like to use the phrase that we're policing smarter. But we are getting to a point where we are going to be at the budgeted number. I believe the budgeted number is like 350 to 360, somewhere around that range that we're budgeted for right now. At some point, and this will be a debate between the council and the administration where, do we want to, at some point, I believe we should try to get closer to that 400 number so we could do some more proactive things, but that's a ways down the road. But right now, as you mentioned, with the Fusion Center and community engagement, we've been able to do a lot with just being smart and about how we police. We're being really targeting specific individuals, specific locations, and we have some other technologies that we've been using as well that I think are helping us as well.
Great. Any other questions for the chief, Commissioner Farrell?
Yeah, you asked a couple of my questions, no questions I intended to ask, but the question I have for you, Chief, is how are we doing with taking on laterals or people coming from other departments?
That's a good question. So, we just enacted that maybe a year or so ago, and we've hired probably 5, and Lieutenant Lyons probably could correct me, but at least 5 we've taken from other departments. 1 came here and then he ended up leaving us, but it's going. We've hired. I know there's at least 1 or 2 more that we're going to be hiring. So it's helping, and we are starting to. We have taken on a couple. So I would say roughly 5 or so we've hired.
And I think that's great. And you're bringing on officers that don't need training.
Exactly.
Which they go straight to work. They're turnkey, ready to go. So
exactly.
Good work on that, Chief.
Yeah. Well, the council was they enacted. They had to change the charter for us to be able to do that. So that was a big undertaking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any other questions for the chief? Okay. Chief, thank you.
All righty. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
All righty.
Okay, we'll move on to the clerk's report. Lieutenant Lyons.
Yes, sir. It's just we have those 3 Burrell hearings that we had planned last month, and then it just keeps getting pushed back. As a request from both the union lawyer and the city lawyer, they are requesting if Tuesday, June 3rd is good for everyone to try to schedule them for June 3rd, and I will get a stenographer because I believe one will most definitely need that.
Okay. So out of the 3 items, we're anticipating 2 may be settled and subject to the commissioner's approval, and 1, as we understand it, would be a full-blown hearing. Okay.
I believe. Yes.
Anybody have an issue with Tuesday, June 3rd?
Nope.
No, we're good. Okay. Yeah, we're going to need at least 4 commissioners for that, of course. All right, very good. Anything else, Lieutenant?
That is all I have for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move to new business. First item under new business is a request from Lauren Coakley and Jonathan Delgado from OPED to address the board regarding more detail on the Downtown Way finding signage project. Lauren, I see you here. Were you expecting Jonathan or?
No, unfortunately, he is away.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm sure you can handle it though, Lauren, so.
If I can't, we'll ask to come again and present one more time.
All right. The floor is yours though, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, good evening to everyone, and just wanted to say thank you for allowing me, I guess, but me and on behalf of Jonathan to come present again a more robust and complete presentation about installing wayfinding signage around the downtown neighborhood. And so so last time you all provided helpful feedback on what information to show and share. So what I have, if I'm able to share my screen, I'll just show a map of the locations. And I'm hoping that you all may have received the list of points of interest that would be featured on each sign in each location, and then I'll display the sample sign. I also have like a physical sample that I'll try and hold up as well, but let me, I'm not able to share my screen, but I'll put oh, wait, maybe I can. Thank you. All right, so share. All right. So this, I'm hoping you all can see an Excel spreadsheet. Is that what you're seeing?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I'll walk through this in a moment, but this it may be more helpful to look at is a Google map. Every yellow circle with the star is a location where a wayfinding sign would be installed. So even though on Broad Street they look very close together, they're sort of staggered on either side of the street. So that if depending on the way that you're walking and the side of the street that you're on, you'll interact with a sign. And anyone who's walked around downtown knows that some of these blocks are a little further apart in terms of, getting from John Street to Fairfield Avenue and Main to State North frontage to State is a little bit of a haul. So yeah, these would be the locations. So as you can see, it's really centered around getting people to more comfortably navigate the core of the downtown area. And I'll pull up the sheet of points of interest. So as you see here, the street that the sign is on, and with the engineering department's guidance, we identified decorative light poles. Those are the black light poles with the decorative tops, where we could install the signage safely and visibly. And then the cross streets here are noted as well. And with 2 or 3 exceptions, the signs face north to kind of point people inward, like into the district or into the places that are close by. So as you see here, and I'll just scroll across, the points of interest are things like Housatonic College, the library, Bijou and Cabaret Theaters, McClevey Green, the Comedy Club, the Freeman Center. So a mix of the, transit center with Metro North and the bus terminal, the amphitheater, the arena, and so forth. So it's a mix of places that people would visit for business purposes or enjoyment, entertainment, things like that. Margaret Morton Government Center is there, and the arrow means just on the sign which way the arrow would be pointing for our graphic designer to be able to create the final product. So we did want to emphasize the mix of parking and public transportation options. So that's why you see parking quite a few times, as well as references to the bus terminal and the train station. And then this, and please, stop me at any point for questions. But if not, I'll just keep talking. Okay, and so this is a little hard to see, but this is, in terms of the text, but this is basically what one sign would look like. And I'll hold up. stop sharing my screen. And I think I have to turn off so please excuse my background. How do I get rid of that thing? Sorry, here we go. That's what I want. Okay, so this is, there we go. This is essentially the width of a sign. This is made of metal, and so it's pretty compact in its size and pretty thin in terms of like weight. We had previously had a different design on the top, so I'm just showing you now with what the points of interest would be. So that's kind of the makeup of the sign. It's very durable, but also lightweight, so that it wouldn't affect the integrity of the light poles. Yeah, so I think maybe I'll bring up again the image of what the actual sign would look like. One other, I guess, point we wanted to make was that this design is a concept that could be replicated outside the downtown with a logo or a design style that reflects any neighborhood that it's in. So if the East Side wanted to do its own variation, or if the East End wanted, I know they have the really beautiful light pole banners. They could use that concept and translate it into to this kind of wayfinding signage, or any other name, North End, South End. Whoever wanted to use this kind of model could use it to point to different places of interest that people would want to navigate to around the neighborhood. Yeah, I think that those were all of the points, and I'm happy to go back through the points of interest if I don't know how to. I'll stop sharing because I don't know how to get out of the screen for that image, but there we go. Yeah, so if you want me to walk through the points of interest that we pulled out, happy to do that again, or take any questions that there might be.
Lauren, when are you going to be ready to install?
Great question. So we have 20 locations identified, and that felt like a really strong number to start with. So I'd have to verify that with Jonathan in terms of getting the purchase order in place with the vendor, but they're already an approved vendor for the city of Bridgeport. So it would just be a matter of how long does it take them to print up the signs, and then I would imagine a day, 2 at most for installation once we receive them.
And for the other commissioners, when it comes to installation of any signs in the city, 99% of the time it's going to require approval of the police commission. So first, any other questions for Lauren from the commissioners?
No.
Anybody have anything? Would it be advantageous for you if we voted on this tonight and gave you the approval to at least have you one step forward?
That would be great. Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you would like, as a follow-up, I could send, because our graphic designer will have to put together 20 images, that will be sent to print that have the exact points of interest for each sign. So if it would be helpful to have that and then send that for a final look.
Well, it's going to be our next regular meeting won't be until June. I don't want to hold up the process either.
Oh yeah.
But any thoughts from the other commissioners on that, or is there any
I think it's a great idea. I think those signs are beautiful, and then, it's something new for Bridgeport. Looks great and very clear, printed out. There's nothing. Doesn't look confusing. It looks very clear and to the point. And I think that's what we need in Bridgeport. Something like that.
And this is not down as an action item, but we can suspend the rules and place it on the agenda for a vote if we're all in favor of that. Does anybody have an issue with that?
I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules to.
Motion's been made to suspend the rule to add on the approval for the downtown signage. Is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Martinez, I believe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it needs to be unanimous. Is there anybody opposed? Okay. That is passed. It is now on the agenda as an action item. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the signs as we understand them so far, and wish Lauren all the best in getting things done. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Farrow. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by several. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great.
Thanks, Lauren.
All right, Lauren, you're good to go from our end anyway.
Well,
Good
thank
luck
you
with
so
everything.
much.
Thank you.
I'll send
Nice
everybody a
job.
follow-up when they're up on the lampposts and
That
you
would
can
be
check
that
them
would be
out.
appreciated. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.
Okay,
You too.
bye now. All righty. Next item on the agenda is a request from Maureen Cummings to discuss the denial of a multi-way sign request at Maplewood Avenue and Lenox Avenue. This was back from January 21st of this year. Maureen?
Hi.
Okay, you have the floor, please.
I'm sorry, Commissioner. I think Commissioner Williams
Oh,
joined us. So
yeah,
if
oh,
you-
yeah, for the record, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Maureen.
For the record, Commissioner Williams is with us. Thank you, Lieutenant. I'm sorry.
You're welcome. Sorry, Maureen.
Maureen, if you'd like to go ahead, please do.
Sure. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting us to participate in this evening's meeting. Greatly appreciated. This process to put in four-way stop signs started long before I got involved by the whole neighborhood years ago. I stepped in about a year and a half ago with an email to Officer Lyons because we had 2 accidents that damaged our property and causing thousands of dollars worth of damage. So I decided I would give it a try. I'm going to read a little bit, so I apologize if I'm just looking down at a piece of paper. I know that you did a traffic study to determine that this was not approved. And this was based on several factors. The first factor was that there was not enough accidents that could have been corrected by this multi-way stop sign. And I'm not sure this is 100% correct and accurate because between 2019 and 2024, there were 16 recorded accidents. And I say recorded because I know that many of these accidents, fender benders, whatever they are, they don't get recorded and they don't get reported to police. A lot of these drivers don't have insurance. And where I come from, if you don't have insurance, that's against the law. And so they don't call the police. And I know this because of the 2 accidents that involved our property. Neither one of them had insurance, which caused over $6,000 in damage. And they were not held accountable. They didn't have insurance. They were given a ticket, and that was basically it. So I think there might, there are more accidents that happen there than are actually reported to, for having it on record. I also want to say that the study said these accidents that were recorded were attributed to the failure to grant right-of-way by drivers, and that this was not correctable by multi-way stop sign installation. When crossing this intersection, I'm sorry, I should have pointed out, this is the intersection on Maplewood Avenue and Lenox Avenue in Bridgeport. We have a workshop there, a commercial workshop on the corner. We've had it there. We've been there for
23 years.
23 years. And so this has been an issue that's been going on for a very long time, ever since we, started, we were there.
Improving the property.
Yeah. And so it's really hard to see the cars that are coming by the time you enter into this intersection. So by the time you are in that intersection and you're either hit by a speeding car that doesn't have time to stop or react. And so is it the fault of the car going into the intersection? That is obviously what you were saying, but it's hard to pull into that intersection to see who's coming in time to react and stop. So in order for that to actually make sense, one would have to be able to do that. And the way it's set up right now, you can't. You can't see. There are too many cars parked on the street. They go far faster than 25 miles per hour that is posted. And so it's not really viable to be able to be the one that's going to stop when you go into that intersection and you're hit. It's not from people running through it. It's because you can't see who's coming and you've entered in and you get hit. So we recently had a meeting with the police chief Porter about these stop signs, which is, greatly appreciated. And he was very familiar with this intersection, Maplewood Avenue and Lenox Avenue. And he said to us at that meeting, which I thought was really all telling, that when he crosses this intersection, he puts his car police light on. That he is so aware that this is a dangerous intersection, he puts his light on to cross that intersection. We obviously don't have that ability. We inch our way into there, and it scares the heck out of you. And it obviously scares him because he puts his lights on. So it's not just us who are very much aware of how dangerous this intersection is in the neighborhood. It's the police commissioner himself. He knows this. So I thought that was very interesting. Another reason why it was turned down is that you said there's not enough traffic volume to warrant this. I guess you study how much volume there is during the day.
Just to break in,
Yep.
we don't do the actual study. We have
Okay.
a city traffic engineer who is a paid professional that does the work. He refers his opinion on requests to us.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's not it's not a question of we're going around and trying to figure it out for ourselves. We
Sure.
rely on at least
engineer.
some of his experience and whatnot. So
Okay.
just to be clear.
Thank you. So by this report, and I'm not exactly sure how they do this report, but the amount of cars, they say it's not enough. And the problem I have with that is there was a study done by the Connecticut Department of Transportation on signage. And in this study, every single intersection on Maplewood and Clinton, Maplewood and Pequannock, Maplewood and Denver, Maplewood and Iranistan, Maplewood and Howard, Maplewood and Lenox, Maplewood and Wood Avenue. All of these intersections are named in this report as a high-risk crash intersection. And obviously there are 144 that were in the study. Every one of the intersections along Maplewood, except for ours, has a four-way stop sign. Every single one of them, except for ours. So I'm not sure how they were, it was based upon that they were approved, but we were not. It's the same road, the same intersections. And to make it worse, we have 3 businesses at our intersection on 3 different corners, which increases the parking, it increases the traffic, and it increases the speeding. And let me tell you, they do speed. it's quite scary. In addition to that, there's children here. There's children on the streets. There's children. One morning I was just there to pick something up, and I noticed 8 children standing at our intersection waiting for the bus. So you have a lot of neighborhoods and a lot of kids there. You have 2 doors down, 2 houses down, a daycare center. You have a lot of business in this area. You have a lot of traffic. And I just think that it warrants either further study or just the approval of a 4-way stop sign. What has been approved is the no parking here to corner sign, which gives you a parking zone. I think it's 25 feet from the intersection, which granted would be helpful.
Well, that's supposed to help with the line of sight issue.
It is. It's supposed to help with the line of sight issue, but it doesn't help with the amount of traffic. It doesn't help with the speeding. It just doesn't help the actual intersection being a dangerous intersection. And you would have to put in 4 of those versus 2 additional stop signs. So the cost effectiveness, I think, would be much more cost effective. I don't know, just to do the 2 stop signs.
So the only thing, because I'm there a lot early in the morning, so it's the kids. So when they come down Maplewood and they're heading towards Bridgeport and they cross over Lenox, they go around the corner at full speed, and the kids are on the corner waiting for the bus. So I'm there even when we exit our property onto Lenox, they just come around the corner, which gets scary. The other thing is, because we've been in that neighborhood a while, and I think James Bishop, who's on, he's one of the parking guys.
Parking authority guy, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so his mom, because we're all good buddies, his mom said that there was, I guess, a kid killed 14 years ago at that corner, at that intersection. Wow. And, you know, we've been, James and I talk a lot, but they just go so fast. And, you know, to me, you know, we're always trying to, like a lot of the people at the other businesses, they know that, you know, I leave, I've always said, yeah, if I'm not here, by all means, you park in front of my entrance just to free up space. But I guess the way we look at it, if you put in the stop sign, you have an additional, what would that be? 2, 4, 6, 8 cars of parking. And if you don't put up the stop sign and you put in the no parking from the corners, you're going to lose 8 spots. And the neighborhood's tough enough with parking as it is. So to me, it's, you know, we're either going to lose 8 parking spots and put up 4 signs, or we can put up the stop sign. And summer months, we've been there so long, I truly believe they try to see how fast they can go from Dewey, where they enter Maplewood, through over Lenox to the next stop sign. And there's a bit of the motorcycle, we call them the wheelie brigade. There's a bunch of motorcyclists who just blow through there during the summer months as well. So to us, it's a safety thing. There've been some accidents. So we're just really trying to seek your guys' approval just to get this over the finish line with the additional stop signs.
All your points are important and well spoken, by the way. And I would mention, although the city traffic engineer, we follow his recommendations often, but not all the time. And there's been certain cases where arguments have been made that certainly make sense to kind of go against the standard rules, so to speak. Does any of the commissioners have any thoughts on this?
If you don't mind,
Commissioner Farrell, please.
Yeah. I mean, since they've been talking, I've been traveling down this road on the internet, and they're absolutely right. I don't know why this particular corner didn't get stop signs, but every single corner or intersection has a 4-way stop, with the exception of this particular one. And I'm not really sure what the rationale was for that in the first place.
Well taken.
And then the other part of it is, you said that you had 2 accidents at your property. Like, So
Yes, this past winter we had, and by the way, I'm Peter Cummings. I'm Maureen's
Oh.
husband. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. This past fall, we had one car that went through our corner of our gate, bent over the fence, and then we had another white truck full of debris who blew through the stop sign, hit a BMW, pushed it into our lot. They went through into our lot, and where we were storing, we lost about not just the fence, which was about $6,000. We lost about $8,000 in material that was sitting in the yard that was also taken away. So that's kind of our pain and suffering. But it's more just, we've been there a long time. We love it. We're not going anywhere. It's just, we're just trying to make the community a little bit nicer. I mean, our next thing is really to redo the sidewalk.
Yep.
So we're trying to do the right thing, but it's the kids that I see in the morning, and it would just be tragic to see one of them, get maimed by a car just coming around that corner.
Let me suggest this. Well, first, this was just a request for discussion. But in order to make this an action item, I have to get the approval, unanimous approval of the board members to suspend the rules in order to make this an action item. Does anybody have any issue with that?
No.
No.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for that purpose.
So move.
Been moved by Commissioner Farrow. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Martinez. All those in favor of placing this on the agenda signify by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Okay. All right. It is on the agenda and for action. And I guess we'll entertain a motion to rescind the prior approval of the no parking here to corner signs and order a four-way stop at that intersection. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Farrow.
I think
Is there a second?
Add something. I don't know.
Second.
I know we'll have a discussion on the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second
Anybody?
it.
Seconded by
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez. Okay, discussion on the motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion?
My discussion on the motion is that I understand we put it on as an action item. I would like to go by that way and see it. And then let's table it and come back and then take the vote on it. I understand what they're saying and their concerns, but a lot of times putting a stop sign is not going to stop the property damage of individuals. I live on Platt Street, and every time they put up a fence and there's a stop sign there, the property is always damaged. The signs are knocked down and things like that. So I would rather, I know I tried to look it up as well, Commissioner Farrow, and looking at it as well. So I would rather take, a time to go by that area and look at it ourselves.
I will just for my two cents, I'm familiar with the area. And as Commissioner Farrow said, there is a four-way stop at virtually, if not every other intersection there. If I can make a suggestion, since it's going to take some time for this to take place, if we approve the motion and get it going forward, it's still going to allow us some time to take a look at the intersection if you'd like to, Commissioner Williams or
Right,
anybody
but if we
else.
put the motion in and then, I come back and I say yay, nay, and then it's already a done deal. If we vote on it.
Actually, it's not a done deal. Just anything that we put forward can be reconsidered. Otherwise, if we wait another month, it's going to be, instead of being a month or two out, it's going to be 3 months out. That's just, my suggestion anyway.
Can I have one request?
Yes.
Can you, when you go to look at the intersection, can you do it before, in the morning before 9 and after about 2:30 or 3 in the afternoon? Because it's a working neighborhood, so there's no one there. It's the beginning of the day and very much the end of the day. And Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are brutal. So it is, if you go in the middle of the day, there's no traffic. If you go during the rush hour, because I know it's a cut through for a lot of people when they commute, when the highway's jammed, or at the end of the day, that's when you're going to see everybody jammed in there. You can't see around cars. That would be my only request, because if you go, like I said, during the day, you're gonna be like, there's no cars here.
And I just want to say to Commissioner Williams that just to understand, the absolute least of our concern is our property. It really is. I mean, of course, we don't want our property or our fence or our anything to be damaged by cars, but our main concern is the accidents that happen there and the children that are there in the morning going to school. So though I understand, you know, fences get damaged at intersections, that's the least of our concern. We're really very concerned about the traffic, the accidents that happen, how absolutely terrified we are whenever we cross over to that street. And, you know, just as police chief has to put his lights on to go through that intersection. You know, those
and I hear your concerns, and in any industry, in any field that we are in. If it's not in black and white, it didn't happen. So I'm not saying that the accidents do not happen, but we have to understand that if people are not reporting it, and you can say it happened, but if it's not down on record, it's not happening. So that's why only my concern is I would like to go by that area and look at it myself. And if anyone else wants to go by, I mean, because that's what we normally do. If we have a discrepancy in what we are receiving, we would go by and we would look at it. And then we have a visual for our own selves. The other, you know, Commissioner Roach is, you know, familiar with the area. I'm familiar with part of Maplewood. You know, I used to work over in that area, but where you're speaking on, I am not familiar with that section of it, and where you're saying there's a lot of businesses. That's where my concern comes.
okay.
You know, that there's a lot of businesses over there, and, you know, my concern comes from there.
Commissioner Farrow.
Yeah, I just wanted to, when you go, Commissioner Williams, yeah, I'm familiar with that area. And now that I see what is leading, this is the one leaving, is that Grove Cemetery? What's that, the name of that?
Yeah.
Cemetery?
Our building used to be known as Ralph's Radio. The police chief who grew up in that area knew it. As soon as they said Ralph's Radio, he says, "Oh, I know the building." That's the building we bought.
Okay, yeah, because I'm looking at it. So I see it. Like I said, so there's stop signs at literally every single corner except that one. But it's a straightaway. So when you're looking at it, if you're looking at it going towards the cemetery, I can see what because we have a lot of streets like that in Bridgeport. Like Thorm is one of them. When you have a straightaway, you got a little, and people just racetrack when it comes to that. So I can see why the chief might very well put his lights on in that. But
also being sensitive to the neighborhood. If you get line of sight, the neighborhood loses 8 parking places to get the, you know, to create your triangle. If you put the stop signs in, you can maintain the parking. And so it's also just the rest of the people that we know on the street.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments? Now, if there is a motion on the floor, but if Commissioner Williams would like to make a motion to table, I believe that takes precedent. We can vote on the motion to table. If that fails, we can go back and vote on the actual request. Commissioner Williams, did you want to make a motion to table, or? I'm sorry, your mic is off. There you go.
Yes, I make a motion to table this action item for Lenox Avenue and Maplewood well, it's actually a 2-way stop sign to be placed on there for further review by the commissioners.
Is there a second to table?
I'm gonna make a motion to table it out of respect for the commissioner, give her opportunity to look.
There's a motion on the floor and it's been seconded to table. All those in favor of tabling?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
I'm sorry. Who? Can I just get a show of hands? Who's in favor of tabling? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that item is tabled. Commissioner Williams will take a look at the area, and we'll be back for next month's meeting. Commissioner Lyons, if you can make sure that it's on the agenda for next month in both items. Meanwhile, if we're looking to rescind the no parking signs that were approved but haven't been installed yet, would you be able to contact Lines and Signs and just put that on hold, please?
Yes, sir. I'll email them tonight and let them know.
Thank you. All right. Okay, Cummings folks, thank you very much for your time, and we'll certainly address this next month then, okay?
Okay, thank you for your time.
All right,
Thank
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a request from Anita Martinez. I'm supposed to give her a call or a text to tell her that she's on. Meanwhile, we'll move on to the next item and come back to Ms. Martinez, and that's a request from Councilman Boyd to reconsider the decision back in March regarding an all-way stop at McKinley and Lincoln. Councilman Boyd is not on this evening. If you can add, I'm sorry. Oh, we'll be right with you, Anita.
Boyd is in the charge. Must have forgot. I stepped out.
Okay. Well, we'll put that one on hold and give him a chance to talk too. When we're done with you, can you just see if he can jump on?
I sure will.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All righty. And with that, Councilwoman Martinez, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you. So, I wanted to address an email that I had actually sent to the commissioners, as well as to, the chief, the assistant chief, and captains regarding my concerns with the towing ordinance that we currently have in place, the expiration of this ordinance, my concerns with what's happening with this ordinance is not being applied accordingly. I have a serious concern with the Deputy Chief Baraha that is running this ordinance. In my email, I requested some concerns that I have had. Now, this is not anything new to me that I'm requesting. I have requested this information since 2013 when I first got sworn into the council. And here we are in 2025. 90% of the information that I have requested has been denied. I have not received anything, even through FOI. So I have to say that I want to thank Lieutenant Lyons for her leadership. I have to say that this mess was thrown onto her. She has been doing a phenomenal job since she has taken over, trying to clean up the towing process. But again, she is blocked by, I'm sure, many things that she's not privy to that is being withheld from us. My only concern is that we run this towing policy and procedure according to the ordinance and the charter here in the city of Bridgeport. I'm not concerned about anything else. I want her to have the operation in her hands and have a different individual oversee it, because it has gotten to the point that it is very serious. And it's not just me. I mean, I'm the council person advocating for it, but there are other council members that are very concerned on the operation of this. With that being said, that concludes my reason as to why I wanted to speak, but I also want to give credit to our Assistant Chief Greg and Joseph Estefan, who are doing a phenomenal job in the city of Bridgeport with the new implementation that they have with towing these tractor trailers off the city streets. I have to tell you, they are kicking ASS in Bridgeport. Every single day, they are towing 2 to 3 trailers out of our city streets, and they are doing such a great job. So it didn't take them no time to put that in order, and it won't take Lieutenant Lyons any time to clean up what needs to be cleaned up if she is allowed to do it. As I stated, this far, she has been phenomenal. She is almost in the same footsteps as our previous lieutenant, O'Donnell. And I have to tell you that as an elected official, and even if I wasn't an elected official and I went to her for business to help with any documentation, I would applaud her either way, as a civilian or as an elected official, because that's how good she's trying with what she has. But again, some things are not put in her hands. Others are still operating it. So that's my only concern. And I thank you all for listening to the concerns that I have, because it's very serious. To me, I may use some harsh words such as scandal and corruption, but those are my feelings. That's how I feel. And by not receiving the information that is due to us as elected official, it makes me even feel that there is some hidden agenda. So I thank you all for hearing me out. If no one has any questions, I will go into the meeting and see if my colleague Akeem can come on out and express what he's on the agenda for.
That'd be great. Does anybody have any questions for the councilwoman? All right.
Thank you.
Anita's and councilwoman is going to be working with the city attorney's office and myself to tighten up the tow ordinance and change what needs to be done. It wouldn't go into effect as far as towing contracts are concerned until next spring, but we want to make sure that we make the changes that need to be changed. And Anita, we'll be seeing you on that, I'm sure.
Thanks, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me get Akeem Boyd, Council.
Sure, he can jump on anytime. We'll just be
Thank you, ma'am.
moving
Commissioner
forward.
Roach, was that the task force meeting that they had regarding that when we had initiated, or was that something different for the
This
towing?
is something recent. This is something through the city attorney's office to address the ordinance. Actually, there's several ordinances when it comes to towing. City Attorney Jankowski is strongly recommending that we combine those and come up with one ordinance that covers all aspects of towing. Not only different kinds of towing, but the charges involved, the storage of vehicles, with the exception of there may be a separate ordinance when it comes to the heavy duty lifting, but for the most part, that's going to be worked on. So right now it's Chief Breck is part of that group. Deputy Chief Baraha, I believe, is supposed to be involved. City Attorney Jankowski and Ed Adams from the mayor's office as well. So it's long overdue, but
no, I know there was a couple of meetings that I had attended, so I wasn't sure if that was the same meeting for the towing, or if that was a different that we were talking about.
We were talking about more specific items, like if I remember right, the toll list and the order which is done. We made some corrections there a few years ago that seemed to be working for the most part, pretty well for us. But this is it's going to be a more comprehensive action.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sure thing.
So Commissioner Roach, Akeem cannot come on right, because he's speaking on the floor on some changes that he's adding.
Okay.
Charter, so he'll.
All right, Anita, just tell, we'll table it for I'm sure for next month then.
Okay, thank you all, and have a good.
You.
Yep, take care.
Thanks again. Okay.
You're welcome.
Under old business, which is what we just spoke about, Councilman Boyd won't be able to join us. Entertain a motion to table that item until next month's meeting. A motion's made by Commissioner Martinez. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that item is tabled. We have another gentleman on the call here, and I apologize. I don't know if you're here for any specific item on the agenda. All I see is GOD. Is it Godfrey? Is that correct? There you
Hello.
go.
I'm here advocating for my mother. We're trying to get a handicap sign put on Armstrong Place.
On Armstrong Place.
Sir, that's the next under old business B. He's the son of the mother.
Table request. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah. No, you'd send out some information and yeah. Okay. That's actually the next item. Thank you, sir. We had a request from the city traffic engineer not to approve the sign at 10 Armstrong Place that was tabled. This sign, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lieutenant, but this sign was to be located across the street from the residence because there is it's a one-way street with no parking on one side.
Correct. It would have to be placed in front of someone else's home, which is generally denied by the traffic engineer. And I know we talked about maybe going by and checking on the neighbors to see if they're okay with that, but also speaking to the woman who wanted the sign or her son to get a little more information.
Okay. And is it Godfrey?
Actually, it's Smalls. We're using my sitter's computer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Mr. Smalls. All right.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay. Do you have anything you'd like to add? I think we have the basic concept of the request, but you also understand the issue. It would be going across the street in front of someone else's house.
Anything close to the house. My mother said, what house did you say would be?
It'll be like in between the yards across the street.
Okay, so there's houses. If you were to go down our street, most of the neighbors, like towards the end and the beginning of the street, have big backyards or big driveways where they can pull their cars into their residence. My mother doesn't have that option, and a lot of people on our street have multiple cars. There's a gentleman at the beginning of the street that has a garage. He takes up a quarter of the street and has multiple cars parked there that are not his and don't belong to the street. We've recently, thanks to Ms. Lyons, we had you guys come down the street in a very timely manner, which I thank her for, and towed on multiple cars off the block that were there for a long time.
Right.
Flat tires, didn't have license plates, and also there's also another gentleman at the end of the street who has a garage, even though it's not. We got that stopped, thankfully, but he still has signs up, no parking, and parks multiple cars there as well. So we're trying to find something. My mother's 75 years old. She's been there. They've owned the house. I'm 43, and they've had it since before I was born. She's 75. She still works, and by the time she gets there, at the end of her shift from driving for the school, all the spots are taken up, so she can't park. She has to park at the end of the street or around the corner and walk up the street. During the summertime, it's not too bad, but during the wintertime when it's slippery and my mother's fallen multiple times, and it's not fair for her that these people are taking up the whole block and she has to walk from around the corner. There's also another elderly lady that has a handicap sticker as well. We're just giving them the chance to get a parking spot without having these people park and take up the whole block. It's not right.
If I remember right, Commissioner Williams brought up the question whether it was mandatory or legal to place a sign in front of someone else's house for the purpose of a handicap spot for a neighbor. And the answer was highly recommended, but not illegal to do that.
Okay.
So it's possible to do that. Did you have any contact with the neighbor whose house would be affected, or where the sign would be in front of?
It wouldn't. Those are renters. They're people that.
Oh, they're renters. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not even really like there's I guess there's a spot between two houses where it can go that they don't have a parking lot or a driveway as well. So it's like I said, it's beneficial to my mother and also the other lady that live there. Because like I said, there's people that have 3 or 4 cars there, and they're literally just parking them there, and then when they can park them someplace else, and let the people that actually live there or have been there for a while get a fighting chance, especially my mother who's older. There's like three you guys that are on the block that are up there in age right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's about 3 individuals on the block right now that are up there in age. One of them doesn't drive. She's at the end of the block. And then there's my mother and another lady that are up there in age. And we're just asking for a little bit
Commissioner
of assistance.
Roach?
Yes,
Commissioner
sir.
Roach, if you may, I live around the corner from where the gentleman's mother lives at. Actually, I walk my dog around there. So if you like, I could take a little walk through there tonight, and then we could come back and revisit it, and I could give you a visual of where exactly they want to put the sign. Because he says that there's a gap in between where the driveway is and the house is. So, so we can get a better visual.
Commissioner, I've actually taken a ride there myself when this was first tabled, and after looking it up on Google Maps it's parking is at a premium there, of course, but we do have the ability if it's going to help, and if the department continues to be aggressive with cars that shouldn't be parked there, whether abandoned or otherwise. But we can, if you want to further table this, you can make that motion, or we can move forward and act on it. It depends on.
Let's move forward and act on it.
Okay.
Commissioner Roach.
Yes, Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I just want to make sure.
And I'm sorry. Now I see you had a hand up. I never noticed those. I apologize. I get criticized for that all the time. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. I just want the parties to know that in all times when they're requesting this handicap sign, it's not owned by the persons that's requesting it. So if in the event your mom comes home and someone has a handicap sign, is parked there, you know what I mean? So, and I'm only saying this because you're going to be in the same boat. You know what I mean? Where somebody's going to come and they may have a handicap sign and they're going to park there. And
whether that's in front of your house or across the street, the handicap sign is not owned by anybody.
That's right.
I was going to mention that.
For a fighting chance. That's it.
All right.
Yeah. So that, you know what I mean? So that again alone, is not taking precedence to the person who's requesting it.
Absolutely.
So mom can't throw a brick through the window if
somebody got there before her.
Unless she does it at night when no one sees it. I'm sorry. You can scratch that from the record. Is there any other discussion or questions for Mr. Smalls? With that, I will entertain a motion if somebody cares to make one.
I motion.
Oh. I'm sorry, Commissioner Martinez, was that a motion to approve?
Yes, I am motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve on the floor made by Commissioner Martinez. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Ferguson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, it's passed unanimously. Okay, Mr. Smalls, tell your mom she's going to be all set. Hopefully the sign will go up fairly soon. I know they're backed up a little bit, so if you don't see it in say 2 months from now, you can contact us. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
All right, sir. You have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a blessed day.
Bye now. Okay, nothing under correspondence, letters, appreciations, or widows' pensions. We have a bunch of city traffic engineers' requests to approve, and they're mostly handicap requests. There's with a couple of exceptions. One is a removal of a handicap sign because the applicant no longer lives there. A stop sign on Marcel Street approach and a dead end sign along Marcel Street. Also a convex mirror on Beachmont Avenue and Elm Court, which makes a lot of sense. That's a difficult intersection as well. One thing I would like to explain is the installation of, this is under Roman numeral 11, the installation of a no truck or trailer parking zones along both sides of Milner Drive, along with supplemental tow-away zone plaques. So the sign will say no truck or trailer parking, and there'd be a small further sign underneath it saying it's a tow-away zone. And that kind of goes along with what I'm sorry, Councilwoman Martinez was talking about, the tractor trailers that are parked on the city streets and underneath the throughways and all over the place. It has been an issue that is being finally addressed and addressed aggressively, thanks to the folks that she had mentioned before. But that's, I just wanted to give a quick explanation on that. Does anybody, before I ask for a motion to combine and approve those items under 8A, does anybody have an issue or a question with a specific item? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to combine and approve the items under 8A.
Almost.
It's been moved by Commissioner Farrow. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by several. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Are there any opposed? Okay, that passed unanimously. Now on to items 8B. These are requests from the city traffic engineer not to approve these requests. The first one is the installation of a handicap parking sign on 111 Park Terrace. The city traffic engineer, one is saying that the frontage at the house is not long enough to merit a parking space. Never mind a handicap parking space. And I noticed the applicant has a not only a Georgia driver's license, but a handicap placard issued by the state of Georgia, which frankly, I'm not sure where that would leave us, even if there was room there. But in any case, the recommendation for that is not to approve. Would you like me to go through all of these and then vote on them in one shot, or should we vote on them individually?
Well, let's do them all in one shot.
One shot.
Okay, all righty. The next one is installation of a handicap parking sign at 141 Kennedy Drive. This is a condo area where they have off-street parking, and anytime there's off-street parking, unless there's special circumstances, it's usually denied. The installation, next one is installation of a handicap parking sign on 1435 Wood Avenue. That is a single family dwelling with a driveway. And the applicant indicated he is, there's no, he's allowed, the driveway is open. It's not that he's a tenant and he's not allowed to park in the driveway. Evidently there's access there. The next one is 234 Lewis Street. And there are no restrictions on the driveway. There's no restrictions on the application, according to the applicant. There's no parking restriction, and there's a driveway there as well. The last one is for a 941 Casoo Street, which there's when I looked that one up, I found two addresses. Now, according to the applicant, he said it's a single family, but there's two addresses for that building. And he did say that he wasn't allowed to park in the driveway. He may be a tenant there, and for some reason, they marked it down as a single family. So that might be a little gray. Anybody else have any thoughts on those? Kasutri, I wouldn't mind confirming that that's a single family resident before we say no to this gentleman, because I mean that was the reasoning of the city traffic engineer and his recommendation to deny them.
Roach.
Yes.
Okay, so 941 Cassuth Street,
Yes.
and then there's a 1420 Cassuth Street.
There's a 1420 that we just
Okay.
approved. Those are two separate applications. Yes.
Those are two. Well, because it's the application is in between. It's not with the. All right. I just wanted to make sure because I'm trying to follow, and
would there be any issue in tabling 941 Cassuth Street to determine whether or not it's in fact a single family or a multifamily, and this gentleman may just be a tenant?
We could table it.
We okay
Come back
with
to
that?
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Unless any other comments or questions, back to items under 8B. Entertain a motion to combine the items under 8B, Roman numeral 1 through Roman numeral 4. And approve the city traffic engineer's request, which is not to approve those items. Is there a motion to that effect?
Commissioner Roach, before you place the motion,
Mm-hmm.
that 941 is a multifamily house.
Yeah, and the applicant listed it as a single family.
Yeah, it's a multifamily. It's 941 to 947.
Right. But some on the application was filled out wrong. So
Yeah,
let's so it's probably a good idea that we're tabling that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is there anybody moving items 8B, Roman numeral 1 through 4? Excuse me 1 second. My apologies.
While the commissioner's on mute, if we do choose to table item B5, I will make sure I call the applicant and try to get some more information.
Thank you.
My apologies, folks. Is there a motion to combine those 4 items and approve the request of the city traffic engineer?
Motion to combine the items under.
Motion's been made to combine the items under 8B, Roman numeral 1 through 4, and accept the recommendation of the city traffic engineer, which is not to approve. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Commissioner Martinez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those have passed. Last item, Roman numeral 5, was the installation of the handicap sign of 941 Cassuth Street. Does anybody care to make a motion?
I make a motion to table that to get clarity on the address, whether it's a single or multifamily.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Martinez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Does anybody have anything else? Otherwise, entertain a motion to adjourn. What's our availability? Commissioner Williams, I think you weren't on when Lieutenant Lyons mentioned Tuesday, June 3rd for our Burrell's hearings.
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
June 3rd. I'm good for June 3rd.
Okay, perfect. All right. Unless there's anything else, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Folks, good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.